In this game, Danyl took black and Baptiste took white. Black started with this Moyo strategy, white invades and then attaches. I don't recommend this attachment when your opponent is building Moyo. This attachment is good in the beginning of the game, but after your opponent already has stones from both sides, and especially if you already have a stone, then you attach. But when you attach, your opponent can choose the direction of play. And now it's not like each direction is just as good. Now some direction might be better for black. So in the game, black chooses to play from the outside. And this is an obvious choice because black splits white stones. And black is aiming at making that invasion at B look bad at the end of the Joseki. So this is what you risk when you attach once there are already some stones. I don't recommend this, and if I were white, I would rather prefer to play this variation. This variation is not recommended on an empty board, but when you are invading Moyo, it's a very, very powerful variation. Maybe you add a move here, maybe somewhere else. Yeah, so the attachment was countered by black with this counter Hane. This is a good idea. And then white goes, white simply follows the Joseki, but this Joseki is not good for white because now indeed the initial invasion of white, this AB exchange, becomes a bad exchange for white. And there is also another problem with this Joseki. This Joseki generally should be played when white can capture black stone in a ladder after playing a double Hane with C, D, E. But now the ladder is not possible because black already has a stone. So white anyway followed the Joseki path, but this was really not fit for the situation because now there is no possibility to capture a stone. This stone is a perfect breaker, and yeah, white is in trouble. This move doesn't work. This move doesn't help white. So what should white do? If there is already a stone here, you need to adjust. You shouldn't follow the Joseki just how it was in the book. If there are stones near your Joseki, it is best for you if you just forget all the Joseki variations and start thinking by yourself. What is the best move right now? Because if you do so, it's guaranteed you will find a better result than following the Joseki path. Unless the Joseki path is the best still, but then you will see it. There is an additional stone, so you can think yourself what to do given that stone. How to make that stone be inefficient if it's opponent's stone or be efficient if it is your stone. So what to do right now? When black has a stone at A, white's correct move is an extension, and it's quite clear. For sure black needs to follow because otherwise the Hane at A is Sente, block is Sente, so black follows, but then white also follows. And what should black do now? If black plays like this, black gets into trouble. What to do now? Here, this is the most aggressive move. Can we be so aggressive? It seems we can. Yeah, it's a ko. So actually, black really cannot block. And it also means that white's block is still Sente. So what should black do? Well, according to the rule, to the famous principle, we should crawl as many times as opponent's block is Sente. So we need to crawl once more. But in fact, the next block still will be Sente. So we play here, but now white goes here and it's still Sente. But if it goes like this, it already looks a bit stupid for black. So probably we need to agree that all right, the block will be Sente, but let's not give this to let's not crawl too many times. Let's play a move like this. If white blocks, black adds a move. Or if it is possible, better to add a move like this, but it's not possible. So we add a move like this, and then it can be called a Joseki because, like it happens that black has a stone here and white still attached. So then it's a common variation that black that white extends to 1 and not plays the double hane. Double hane was really just playing Joseki by heart, and this was a bad mistake. Then black split white's position, and now white goes out. Black needs to add a move in the corner, and you add a move in the corner by capturing the stone. This is very important to remember. White does not have a way to do harm to black in the corner. The best white can get is this descent, but it doesn't look too interesting once white already has a stone at B. So black should capture, but in the game black played here, and this is a bad mistake because when black captures, black erases the agi on the outside, and you might think, what agi is there on the outside? White is already captured, but you will see that there is a lot of agi, so let's not talk about it anymore for now. We will see it later. For now, white pushes and starts a fight with the attachment. Here there is no reason not to squeeze black. White should squeeze black, and then white can add a move on the bottom. Black can continue, but still it's good that we squeezed black. We improved our position by a lot. But white simply played here. This gives black a chance to put more pressure on the group of white. Black plays this move, and white runs. Yeah, but white runs with a pretty bad shape, and black is making good shape, so it's a satisfactory result for black, very satisfactory up to now. Then black plays this move, and this is certainly a mistake because we can use the agi also in the other way. Probably black thought that, I cannot use the agi like this because it doesn't work, but in fact still it is a possibility. Maybe one day we will be interested in just cutting off 2 white stones. But we also have this possibility. We also have such a move. It is also center, but it makes black's shape on the outside stronger. So we shouldn't choose between these for now. Probably black did it because black realized that white can play these moves in center and gain half an eye. However, white will not play such exchanges in any foreseeable future because it strengthens black on the outside very, very much, and white's shape also becomes pretty bad, pretty few liberties, and it's still only half an eye, so there is no risk that white plays it. We need to put ourselves in the shoes of our opponent and think, is our opponent really going to play these exchanges? If no, then better to not touch it because it's an ajikeshi. It loses other possibilities. For example, this might be a center move, this might be a center move, so many possibilities. Black played this exchange, then goes out, white also goes out, and now look, white cut and played here, and black followed. Why did black play a move around here? Because black realized that white might play on black's nose, and maybe it's not exactly center because the cut doesn't work, but there is a bad agi in black's shape. So black was afraid of that. That's why black reinforced the shape. However, think how it would all look had black captured the stone with A and not played the move at B, the Atari at B. Then this cut would not be center, so white would not be able to get this exchange. There would be these 2 stones, and then black would certainly not need to reinforce the shape from this side. Instead, black could easily focus on what is more important, on the center of the board. So you see that the agi is there. You capture the stone and then you don't have a liberty problem with your 4 stones. It's not just about your stones not being about to die. Agi is not that there is a working sequence. Agi is that there is some weakness which can be used in some variations. So white indeed used it in the game, and then white takes control over black's center. Here black plays this double hane, and this move looks to me like if black is still considering white's snake as a very weak group which needs to be pushed super much and maybe even captured. But this is not a correct way of looking at what is happening on the board. Due to black's weakness around here, white managed to go out quite comfortably to the center of the board, And now still black's group is stronger than white's group, but we don't have enough power to push so hard. We need now to extend and simply continue the game. And this is still a normal game which we can play and win by a few points. But if we play such overplays, such too aggressive moves, then actually black's shape is going to fall apart. So now black extends, and after a few exchanges, actually not good exchanges, they only gave black many points on the right side, but still, after these few exchanges, white finds time to go out with this stone. And this is super, super important. It might be even more important than the stones on the right side, because, well, yeah, white can capture and black doesn't have all these points, so it's a huge move. But this is also a really huge move. Now black's groups are split, and both are not in a perfect condition. So well, yeah, probably even now black needs to play such a move. But then the double Hane didn't make sense in the first place. We must have played calm because we are not so strong anymore. We need to look objectively at how the position on the board is, and not just depend on our previous emotions towards certain formations, certain groups of stones, and so on. So the game became difficult for black now. These exchanges were simply not needed. White should probably go out immediately, and still it will be not really possible for black to harm white. Maybe now we can use such a move, but yeah, I think that simply play like this, and black doesn't have too many liberties, I believe. So, well, yeah, it's a bit not an obvious question. Yeah, I understand that white tried to make sure that the group cannot be enclosed, and white managed to ensure this in center. So this is a success for white. By the way, maybe if we play here now, we don't need to be really afraid of the net, because we can play this move. And if white plays here, we go here. And this looks problematic for white, doesn't it? It looks very problematic for white. So black missed this peculiarity of the shape. Well, of course, white can play from the other side. In fact, this is not bad for white, because white splits black stones. So to this move, black needs to answer probably with a move like this, or maybe more interesting with something like that. Then white will probably somehow take care of the situation. Black gets this. But still, we get that stone in the center. That's very, very important. So in the game, black got split. And now what to do? Yeah, black reinforced the shape. Well, I don't think that black's group is going to die. I really, really don't believe it. But of course, white can annoy it. If white forces black to make small life, white can get a lot of points in exchange. So yeah, black added a move, and it makes sense. White starts putting pressure on black. And now a very important moment of the game. Black attaches, and black feels uncomfortable about this group. So what does black do? Black starts making center exchanges. Center, feeling that this makes the group stronger. But in fact, it's an illusion. It's a myth that by playing such center exchanges, you can strengthen the group. I mean, if you are really in a situation that you might die, and you read it until the end, that your group is about to die, then you can make center exchanges, but only as many as needed to make the group alive. Or like make comfortably alive, maybe make alive in center. But generally, these center exchanges where you are leaning on your opponent's outside stones, they are very much of a loss. you are strengthening your opponent, and you are making your position much worse on the outside. So you should avoid these. And when your opponent attacks your group, but the group still has a lot of space, what should you do? You should play good shapes at first. So just go out. Probably white plays here. That's a good spot, right? And then, well, this looks like a reasonable shape, but maybe you can treat your stones more lightly. You play here, and if your opponent tries to split you, well, even if white manages to cut off a few stones of yours, you might get much more on the side. This tail of the group is actually not very valuable. But just play normal moves like this, good shapes, and find space for living. The position is open. You have a lot of space, so you should just create that space for you. And what you should not do is not start making these center exchanges, leaning on all the weaknesses of your opponent. This playing like this is like a fly which is caught in a jar, let's say, and it tries to escape, and it is buzzing and hitting the walls of the jar, hitting the glass, boom, 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 making so many unnecessary motions which only weaken the fly. They don't help escape, and by hitting all these walls, the fly is getting weaker and weaker. So this is an unreasonable behavior, but we are all very much inclined to such behavior when our group is in danger, because we are afraid that we might die. So we feel like, okay, here, half an eye, good, I have half an eye. But in fact, the group would have been stronger had black not played these exchanges, because then there is still much more agi in white's shape. And if white plays like this, we can get this one in center, and we cannot get this one in center after these exchanges, right? So now black simply pulls back, but the shape is quite heavy, and ironically, the group did not live in the end. Of course, it could live, so probably now black can play like this. The group should not have much problem with making life, I believe. It should be alive. But black tried more, and then white finds the Suji. And then this group, which already had time to become heavy, had time to strengthen the opponent, then it's still going to die. How much better it would be if now we go to live in the corner, but these exchanges are not in place, and we can still use agis in the opponent's shapes from the other side. Yeah, so this was unfortunate, and now black died indeed. So yeah, if we knew that we are about to die, of course it would have been better to play like this, and I don't know what white's plan was. Probably this. This would be a much better sacrifice, but in the game black died on a big scale, so afterwards the game was already too difficult for black. So yeah, here, famous shape, black cannot make an eye. Yeah, so later it was just a calm endgame. Just one thing to add. Here you should make life with this technique. It's a larger life than this. But anyway, this is a detail, but the game was decided already earlier. So very interesting game. I think a lot of good lessons to be taken from it. And yeah, thank you for listening, and we will move to the next game.